Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. One person is recovering in hospital after gunfire rang out in North Bay last night. Police are searching for the suspect. Plus, hoping to turn cold statistics into political action.
Painful, it's painful. Like severe frostbite, like when that happened to me, it was extremely painful.
An advocacy group in Sudbury is calling for data to be released to help the city's most vulnerable. And combating loneliness during the holidays.
That saying that you don't know what people are going through is, I think, a really important, concept to highlight.
Mental health experts offer tips on prioritizing well-being this festive season.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Friday night. Ian is off. One person has been injured and taken to hospital following a shooting overnight in North Bay. Police say the shooting took place in the Seymour and Franklin Streets area near the Highway 1117 bypass between midnight and 2 a.m. While the suspect is still at large, police believe this to be an isolated incident with no threat to public safety. Anyone with information is asked to call police or Crime Stoppers. A 16-year-old has been charged with trafficking after the recovery of a stolen vehicle Thursday. Police say they noticed the car parked at an address on Frood Road. They observed a young person leaving the residence and approached on foot. According to investigators, the youth tried to flee police by ramming the stolen vehicle into an unmarked cruiser. A subsequent search led to the seizure of 136 grams of suspected cocaine valued at more than $13,000 in cash. Provincial police are looking for the public's help after a tractor trailer was stolen in Timiskaming Shores. Police say the truck was taken from a snowplow turnaround at the Timiskaming Shores sign on Highway 11 between Sharp Lake Road North and West Road. The vehicle is described as a 2023 Freightliner Cascadia with Manitoba license plate CRG311. Sudbury police are considering changing up education and awareness when it comes to impaired driving, especially given some recent statistics. CTV's Angela Gemmell reports.
People think, oh, well, I took an edible. I'm not impaired. I'm not drunk. But I think, education needs to happen in that space.
Sudbury's police chief calls the number of impaired driving arrests this year staggering.
We're just shy of 300 consistently over the last couple of years of individuals still choosing to get behind the wheel while impaired by drugs or alcohol.
Greater Sudbury police say to date in 2025, there have been 292 arrests for impaired driving. That's compared to 272 last year and 296 in 2023. But the chief says what stuck out to her was the increase in the number of drug-related impairments. 109 this year compared to 69 in 2024. That's a jump of 58%.
Our drug impaired driving is up significantly while our alcohol is down, but individuals are still, unfortunately, with all the education that's out there, all the enforcement that's out there, still choosing to get behind the wheel and drive impaired.
My question is, who's the demographic for that? And is it younger drivers who perhaps are more inclined to use drugs as opposed to perhaps older drivers that would use alcohol?
Given the increase in drug-related impaired driving, the Greater Sudbury Police Service is considering changes to its education and awareness initiatives next year.
We'll continue to educate our public. We'll continue to be out there, enforcing the laws, and hopefully the community will think twice before getting behind the wheel.
Starting in the new year, Ontario motorists who choose to get behind the wheel impaired will face stricter penalties. For a first offense, license suspensions will increase from 3 to 7 days, while a second offense garners a license suspension of 14 days, up from the previous 7. And there will be zero tolerance for drugs or alcohol present in young or novice drivers, as well as commercial drivers. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Sudbury police are investigating multiple sexual assault complaints connected to what they say was an illegal after-hours bar downtown. Through their investigation, police believe drinks were spiked to cause added intoxication, with the assaults happening sometime later. And they believe there are more survivors. Police say the establishment on Cedar Street has since been shut down by the province's Alcohol and Gaming Commission, but say there are concerns other such operations may open elsewhere in the city. Sudbury police also saying that spiked drinks are often hard to spot. Some symptoms they say to look out for are feeling drunk despite drinking little or no alcohol, blurred vision, drowsiness, or loss of consciousness, or feeling unusually hot or cold. They remind people to never leave a drink unattended, purchase your own drinks, or watch the bartender prepare it. The holidays are a time when families and friends reconnect and spend time together. But for many people who are estranged from their loved ones, it can also be very difficult and painful. CTV's Eric Tashner reports.
As the holidays inch closer, the CMHA is highlighting the rise in estrangement, the process of becoming alienated from family members due to a breakdown in the relationship. CMHA psychotherapist Emily Colby says these cases are more prevalent during the Christmas season, a period saturated with idealized portrayals of family harmony.
It's really hard to walk down the street and see families out shopping together, see people celebrating the lights.
Estrangement is complex. It can be linked to abuse, conflicting values, substance abuse, or mental health challenges. And for some, walking away from those toxic relationships is liberating. For others, it can bring a profound sense of shame or loneliness, guilt, sadness, and anger.
My job to support people when they're going through this is to actually create connection, help them bond together, help them pull together as a community, find supports in the community.
There are a lot of resources to help. Even just volunteering with community organizations can help lift spirits. But for some extreme cases,
CMHA has a drop-in center for folks who may be experiencing a bit of isolation or want to balance out their social and emotional mental health.
A recent study out of the U.S. suggests that as many as 27% of adults reported they are estranged from at least one family member. Anecdotal evidence from psychologists across Canada indicate this trend is on the rise.
That saying that you don't know what people are going through is, I think, a really important, concept to highlight.
CMHA data finds over 80% of individuals estranged from their mothers eventually reconcile, while just under 70% reconnect with their fathers.
Seek validation for what you're going through because it's very unique, but at the same time, it's a fluid process.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
A critical funding gap is threatening essential services across Northeastern Ontario. The United Way says its year-end campaign is stuck at just 70% of its more than $2.5 million goal. It says that could mean support for 49 organizations across 6 districts, including food banks, emergency shelters, and end-of-life care, may be scaled back if it doesn't reach its goal by March. The organization's executive director, Corey Roslin, says Sudbury is currently facing the largest shortfall.
I think it's important for the community to recognize United Way supports something that will touch their lives personally at one point or another. And everybody at some point in their life will probably have reason, or have family members or close friends have reason to use the services that we are funding.
Donations can be made online. Call it the $2.5 billion question. What went wrong with Ontario's Troubled Skills Development Fund? CTV's John Woodward has more.
That deep dive is coming.
A deep dive, says Ontario Liberal MPP Stephanie Smythe, into Labour Minister David Piccini and his oversight of the province's controversial $2.5 billion jobs training fund.
If I were the minister right now, I'd be a little a little concerned.
Concerned as the province's Integrity Commissioner, Catherine Motherwell, took up Smyth's complaint about Piccini and another complaint by the NDP to see whether Piccini contravened sections of the Act and Ontario parliamentary conventions in selecting applicants to rounds 4 and 5 of the Skills Development Fund. This isn't the first time a legislature watchdog has taken a look at the Skills Development Fund. In October, the Auditor General found that the administration of almost $750 million was done in a way that was not transparent, fair, or accountable. The web of apparently connected lobbyists and companies getting millions in grants so tangled, the Ontario Liberals put it on a whiteboard.
Everywhere I go, people are saying to me, this smells fishy.
Piccini today posting a photo of himself with a grant recipient as the Premier was asked about the development at a news conference in Buffalo.
Well, I know he'll cooperate with the Integrity Commissioner. We've invested $2.5 billion. We've trained over 750,000 people.
One of those companies, Keel Digital Solutions, already under investigation by the OPP for a contract with another ministry. Piccini was photographed at rinkside seats with one company director and attended a Paris wedding with a company lobbyist. Keel has said it's just being scapegoated, but with so many connections to the halls of power, one watchdog says the OPP should refer its probe to the RCMP.
I think there's a systemic conflict of interest.
The OPP told CTV News at this stage in the investigation, no potential perceived conflict of interest has been identified. If such a conflict is identified during the course of the investigation, the OPP will take appropriate steps to determine whether the matter should be referred to another investigating agency.
We don't know how long this will take, but we do know that one way or other, the truth will come out.
The opposition settling down for a long haul. When the last Integrity Commissioner looked into a previous scandal around the Greenbelt, that report took about 8 months. 2 ministers and 4 staff members resigned. The RCMP probe there is still ongoing. John Woodward, CTV News.
The Mayor of Callander, Rob Noon, and Councillor Irene Smith have resigned from their roles. Noon was first elected to City Council in 2000 and had served continuously since, with the exception of one term. He was sworn in as mayor in March 2020 after the previous mayor, Heck Levine's sudden death. Smith sat on the District of Parry Sound Social Services Board as a representative for the municipality. There is no word on why the two resigned. Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, we'll have your full weather forecast, including what it's going to look like this weekend. But for now, a look at the current conditions across the region. And it's pretty cold out there. You're definitely going to want to bundle up. Minus 22 in Chapleau, some snow falling. Full forecast coming up next.
You see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Just a heads up, winter starts officially at 10:03 Sunday morning, so we'll have winter weather this weekend. Forecast radar, check out some of the snow for tomorrow. Anywhere from 5 centimeters to 5 to 10 in Sault Ste. Marie, 5 to 10 during the day, 5 to 10 at night. It'll stick around for a while. And of course, it'll be colder this weekend compared to what we've experienced over the last couple of days. 7-day forecast, Sudbury Nickel Belt, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow tomorrow, -4. Chance of flurries on Sunday. On Monday, chance of snow on Tuesday. Wednesday, chance of flurries and the chance of snow on Christmas Day with a high of -1. Take a look at some of the temperatures. A variation. First it's cold, then it starts to warm up, then it gets cold again. Let's move on over now to Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma. Snow tomorrow, 5 to 10 centimeters during the day and more of the same at night, -2 your high. Chance of flurries on Sunday. Monday, chance of flurries. Tuesday, chance of flurries. Chance of flurries on Wednesday, and of course Christmas Day. Rain or snow with a high of 3 degrees, unusual for a Christmas Day in December. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, snow tomorrow 5 centimeters, a high of -6. Chance of flurries on Sunday, -14 your high. Monday, chance of flurries, chance of snow on Tuesday. Wednesday, Christmas Eve, chance of flurries, and Christmas Day 40% chance of snow with a high of -4. So some of those conditions will vary throughout northeastern Ontario. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, snow tomorrow, 5 centimeters, -3 your high. Chance of flurries on Sunday, -11. Another -11 day on Monday with a chance of flurries. Chance of snow Tuesday, warming up to 0. Then it gets colder again. -8 on Wednesday, chance of flurries. Then it gets warmer again on Christmas Day. Chance of snow and -2 your expected high. Now North Bay, West Nipissing, snow tomorrow 5 to 10 centimeters, a high of -1. Chance of flurries on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Well, we've got some sleet, a 60% chance of rain or snow with a high of 2. Cooling down to -6 on Wednesday, Christmas Eve with the chance of flurries. Then the chance of snow on Thursday with an expected high of around 0. So, Amanda, some varying conditions, but it looks like winter weather is settling in by Sunday, at least at 10:03. Then temperatures will be up, temperatures will be down, just in time for Christmas. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. A newly formed group that advocates for the homeless wants data published by Public Health about frostbite amputations and deaths by hypothermia. CTV's Elena Everson reports.
Conditions are wet and cold at the Energy Court encampment site after rain and snow over the past 24 hours. Puddles surround many tents people live in. Holland Marshall is leading a new effort to get data relating to frostbite amputations and hypothermia deaths published by Public Health.
Getting your feet wet. In World War I, that was called trench foot. And that name has seemed to stuck. But what happens is we had rain now. After we had snow and it's cold, we have rain. And if you think it's better, no, it makes everything worse because your sleeping bags, your clothing, your socks, your shoes, your pants, everything gets wet.
Marshall has reached out to Sudbury MPP Jamie West, who feels publishing this type of data would be helpful in assessing the needs of the homeless population and the challenges people face.
We had the meeting with Holland last week. Right away, my team in Queen's Park has reached out to the Legislative Library to find out what happens in other provinces so we can take a model that they have to share here in Ontario. We're also going to be speaking with Public Health to make sure they're able to work with this data because we know that they had funding cuts as well. So we want to make sure this is successful all the way around.
Marlon Wright has been homeless on and off for several years. He lost his fingertips in Regina and some toes in Sudbury due to frostbite.
It's painful, like severe frostbite. Like when that happened to me, it was extremely painful. Like the morning when I got into somewhere warm, it felt like it was being burnt. Like it was burnt or you slam your hands in the car door or something like that. That's what it feels like, but it's continual.
Marlon stays in the shelter overnight, but says days can be cold on the streets, getting to places to get warm. In an email, Public Health Sudbury and Districts says it does not have access to data on cold-related injuries, but supports this kind of information being centrally collected and made public. Ellen Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
The City of North Bay is offering a special reward for completing the Downtown Waterfront Redevelopment Survey. The survey, available on the city's website, is collecting feedback on 3 conceptual designs for the development of the parcel of land behind the North Bay Museum. Residents who complete the survey in full are entered into a draw to win one of 6 $100 Hello cards, valid at more than 20 shops and restaurants in the city. Surveys must be completed by January 14th. With wild weather ripping its way across the country this year, Northern Ontario made the cut for Environment Canada's top 10 list of weather events. CTV's Madison Merrier reports.
From the second worst wildfire year to record late summer heat, Canada has experienced extreme weather conditions this year, and Environment Canada has ranked them.
These decisions are made by a group of meteorologists, and we look at things like the cost of the event. We look at the impacts, how many people were affected by it. We look at the region, the reach of the event, how widespread the impacts were. And then, of course, a big factor is actually how long it remains in the media.
Northern Ontario is no stranger to the list. At number 3, under the powerful thunderstorms, is Samuel de Champlain's devastating downbursts that the provincial park is still recovering from.
But the widespread damage that was caused by something called a downburst, which is a gust of air that extends out of a thunderstorm, hits the ground, and then spreads out. So it toppled a lot of trees over a very large region, especially Semyon de Champlain Park. And it happened during nighttime and when a lot of people were out camping. So there were a lot of injuries and a lot of damages.
This was an unprecedented weather event. This was the most severe storm ever to hit one of our Ontario parks. So the devastation was just horrifying.
Also on the list at number 5 is the major ice storm from late March that hit hardest in Muskoka, but Environment Canada says the rain fell and froze for over 20 hours in Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, and more.
In this case, we had a big long warm front draped essentially from Sault Ste. Marie across Georgian Bay and east toward Kingston, and all of the towns and locations along that warm front and just ahead of it or just to the north of it experienced many hours of freezing rain, which resulted in a lot of ice accumulation.
Smith said this is the 30th year of compiling the top 10 weather stories into the list. When it first began 30 years ago, they had a hard time finding 10 weather events. Now they're having a hard time narrowing them down. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Greater Sudbury is donating a boat to Waterfront First Nation for exploration and safety enhancements. This boat had been used by the city as a rescue vessel before it was decommissioned in 2020. This is the same boat that the city removed from auction and skied following outcry from the community. The boat can no longer be used for rescue operations, but Waterfront First Nation and Skied will use the boat collaboratively to safely access and explore Rough Lake. A group of old high school friends on the East Coast will come together for a holiday fundraiser with a message. CTV's Ryan McDonald reports.
You might not know it from their laughter and warmth that this is a group of friends touched by tragedy.
Whenever I think of all three of those guys, I think of their smiles and how outgoing and fun they were.
Those guys were Tyler McCackern and Joey Mann, along with Matt Keating, 3 young men who grew up playing hockey together who in recent years lost their battles with mental illness. Now their old high school friends are organizing a holiday fundraiser in their honor, the 3rd annual Bratton Brothers Memorial Hockey Tournament.
We had one of the people who passed away played in the first event, and we didn't anticipate, him to be feeling that way, unfortunately. So we're hoping, with that thought, we thought, who else is in the room struggling?
I think you'd be proud that, all these guys are coming together.
Mike Keating is Matthew Keating's older brother. A few years back, he started a men's mental health movement in Matt's memory called the Three Brothers Project. It's helping put on the December 23rd event here at the County Arena.
We're playing in memory of our brothers, but we're also playing for each other in the sense that we're letting each other know that it's okay to have these conversations about mental health.
This year, the funds are going to support the Mental Health and Addictions Patient Care Fund.
Caitlin McDonald is manager of philanthropy at the Cape Breton Regional Hospital Foundation. She also went to high school with the 3 men being remembered.
This tournament is kind of a way for us to honor them and remember them, and also a way for us to raise funds for others in our community who might be struggling as they were at one time.
So we're going to keep this event going, keep building and growing, and trying to bring more awareness to the guys in the dressing room that if you're not doing okay, you can get help.
An important message, and old friends coming together to keep their buddies' memories alive. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Coxheath, Nova Scotia.
Only one Northern team in action in the OHL tonight. The Sudbury Wolves were in action at home, taking on the Guelph Storm, and the Wolves dominated, taking down the Storm 6-2. To the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League now, the Powassan Voodoos were in Kirkland Lake with the Gold Miners taking home ice advantage 4-2. The Blind River Beavers faced off against the Sioux Michigan Eagles, with the Sioux taking a 6-2 win. And tonight's game between the Hearst Lumberjacks and the Timmins Rock has been postponed due to weather and road conditions. Still ahead tonight on CTV News, a strong show of support for the community. Details next. Grocer Metro Ontario is supporting school breakfast programs at 5 elementary schools across the province. In Sudbury, Lansdowne, and Princess Anne Public Schools, every student at the 2 schools received a breakfast kit to take home for the holidays to ensure they would have nutritious food to share with their family. Students had this to say about the donation.
I think it's great that Metro donated us all of this food, and it was a very kind gesture.
Students who may not have food at home now have access to breakfast over the holidays.
Thanks for being so kind, Metro.
The senior VP from Metro adds they're happy to support this initiative. This was the scene early this morning in Noelville. Dozens of volunteers took part in the French River Christmas Basket Campaign. Thanks to the generosity of Northerners, 115 families received help this year to get them through the holidays. Just amazing. And finally for us tonight, forget the skis and the skates. The season's most enthusiastic winter athletes are four-legged, long-eared, and fueled by carrots. Barb in Greater Sudbury sent us this video of some bunnies enjoying the fresh snowfall. Looks like they're not having any problems with this weather. Thanks for sending that in, Barb. And just a reminder, starting Monday for the 11:30 newscast, we'll be taking a look back on the year that was and some of the positive news or warm fuzzy stuff that may have happened. That's next week on 11:30 here on CTV Northern Ontario along with Crave. And that takes us to the end of our newscast. Thanks for spending a bit of your Friday night with us. Have a wonderful weekend. Good night.